France 24 debate. We're looking at the reaction after the killing of opposition leader Shukri Belaid, killed by two masked men on a motorbike outside his home this Wednesday morning. With us to talk about it from the opposition Aljoumhouri party is Wafa JAOUA. Welcome back. Welcome back as well to activist Jalila HEDHLI-PEUGNET of Think Ahead for Tunisia. From Strasbourg in the European Parliament, Dutch Euro MP Marietje SCHAAKE. And we're expecting to be joined by Enhada party MP Amel AZZOUZ. Just should tell you regarding Shukri Belaid, he was by no means Tunisia's only big-name opposition leader, but increasingly a thorn in Enhada's side and its most outspoken critic. Stephen Carroll has more.
As a human rights lawyer, Shukri Belaid made a name for himself defending political activists under the regime of President Ben Ali, a role which earned him time in prison. In the run-up to the 2011 elections, his secular opposition movement sought to confront the rising influence of Islamist parties. Despite his Democratic Patriots winning just one seat in the polls, he continued his outspoken criticism of the moderate Islamist Ennahda party. Last October, the 48-year-old formed the left-wing coalition called the Popular Front to oppose the ruling party. After leading a series of anti-government protests last year, Belaid drew criticism from the Interior Minister, who said that he was trying to stir unrest.
In 2011, we were here to protest against abuse, oppression, injustice, poverty, and against unemployment. Today we come to say that the people who liberated this avenue should continue the work on the liberation from oppression, poverty and abuse.
As recently as last weekend, Belaid had accused mercenaries linked to Enhada of attacking a gathering of his supporters. His wife said he'd received death threats over his activism, but continued his efforts.
What a catastrophe for our fight here in Tunis. What a catastrophe for us. My girls will now grow up without him. My husband has lost his life.
Tunisia's Prime Minister denounced the killing of Shukri Belaid as an assassination of the revolution. The French president described him as one of the country's most courageous and free voices.
And we're just getting word from the Reuters news agency the Tunisian Prime Minister is going to dissolve the government and form a national unity cabinet. That was one of your demands.
It was one of our demands, but it's not enough now. We are in not turning point. It's not enough.
For you, the call for the general strike is still on, and
yes.
Suspending your participation in the Constituent Assembly.
Yes. Which government which kind of government they will put in place? That's the problem. They can dissolve it and they can put other people in, especially in the main ministries. And most of the problems for the government reshuffling now is the demands of the allies, CPR and the Takatul. Yes. They said that we need, for example, the Minister of Foreign Affairs not to be part of this government. So that's not enough. We need to see if it is really a government of technocrats who will get Tunisia from this misery. So that's
a government of technocrats. Yes. We know that there had been haggling going on and over who would get what portfolio yes. in a national unity government.
Yes.
Still, if there is a government of technocrats, it could be a positive step.
It could be a positive step. Sure, that will make us to move on from the nepotism, from the bad practices of putting my son-in-law in this government. No, I put somebody who can manage that position, that portfolio. So yes, sure, it will sort out the problem at least a bit.
Enhada had to call for all the parties, all the constitution of the political scene to ask to contribute.
Yes.
And it will be a positive.
All right, so they have to bring everyone on board in the streets of. You were mentioning point of no return. Those are the words used in the streets of Tunis this Wednesday. Protesters saying there'll be a before Belaid's assassination and an after.
This is the point of no return. People have been shot at. Yesterday it was Lotfi Naged, a regional head of the Nida Tunis opposition party. Today Shukri, a leader of the well-known Popular Front. They want to scare us. We say, here we are. Kill us if you want.
Let me ask you this question, Mariette SCHAAKE. Did the West fall a little bit too much in love with the narrative of the Arab Spring's poster child being Tunisia? Here was a country where, they were taking matters into their own hands. Should there have been more red flags raised by the likes of France and the European Union to prevent this this state where we're seeing a political leader assassinated?
Well, it's an important question for all of us. I mean, generally on the uprisings in North Africa and the Middle East, I've personally felt that I should support the people that rightfully called for justice, an end to human rights abuses, dictatorship, and they were looking to have a self-determined life. And I think that those are very legitimate calls and that those individuals needed to be supported. Now, 2 years after the uprising started in Tunisia, we do see new forms of repression, authoritarianism, human rights abuse, repression of pluralism, of freedom, and those concern us very much. And of course, the assassination that happened today in Tunisia is something that we are very concerned about here in the European Union. At the same time, our commitment to an actual deep democratic transition towards the rule of law and all those ingredients that will secure the well-being and the opportunities for all Tunisian people has remained strong. But what is first and foremost important is that Tunisian people themselves within their own society will ensure that there is accountability, that there is checks and balances, independence of the different branches of the state, a trustworthy and independent judiciary, a working police. And it sounds like all of these very essential ingredients to a democratic and free society are lacking. And I will again express an invitation for
By whose fault are they
anyone who
lacking?
needs your...
By whose fault are they lacking?
Well, a government has ultimate responsibility in these matters. There's no doubt about it. At the same time, transitions are always difficult. We know this all too well in the European Union ourselves. Transitions from dictatorship to democracy have taken decades, not years. So in terms of managing expectations, a transition is always difficult. At the same time, every step, small or large, that is taken in these transitions has to be one in the right direction. And I wonder whether that is the case in Tunisia right now. I think we need to get all the facts on the table and that those who are responsible need to be held to account. There cannot be impunity after this political assassination. People need to be able to trust their government. The government has to take responsibility for the well-being of all Tunisians, for a pluralist, inclusive political climate. That's the only way in which a good constitution can emerge, and the only way in which transition is moving in the right direction.
The red light's going off when it comes to Tunisia back in September, when Salafists, protesters, seemed to have an easy time of it, storming the perimeter of the U.S. Embassy in the capital. 4 were killed in the clashes. There was burning and looting. Authorities responded by issuing an arrest warrant for Abu Iyad. Now, he's a jihadist fighter who, back in Afghanistan, was extradited to Tunisia under the previous regime, amnestied after the fall of Ben Ali. But when police came to pick up Abu Iyad, supporters wouldn't let them through. Instead, it was a clean getaway for the man suspected of being one of the masterminds of the 2001 assassination of Afghan nationalist Ahmed Shah Massoud on the eve of 9/11. When Abu Iyad granted an interview just a few days ago to a private radio station, the best authorities could do was ban the broadcast. I gotta say, his words were a little bit ominous. He told supporters to not go fight in Mali, that there was, quote, work to be done in Tunisia. Yeah. And when you, Jalila HEDHLI-PEUGNET, we're telling this story just to say, big warning lights went off when this happened.
Yes.
In your view, did the West act properly? Should the West have done more?
Sure, especially the European Union, because we're considering the European Union is is a crucial strategic union and a neighbor, which may, I mean, an organ, legitimate organ that can support us in our political and democratic transition. But they are not doing enough in the sense. We're not going to ask all the time from the West. We need to do it ourselves. And that's what we asked for. We wanted to have a Tunisian kind democracy, and we wanted to do it. But unfortunately, it was a surprise just after the 14th of January. We went on the ground, we wanted to work, and then we found this kind of militias from this new government. We couldn't achieve our dreams. We were aspiring to move, as she said, to the right direction. But I want to answer her that we're not moving to the right direction because we are hampered from many facts on the ground. I mean, we have the Wahhabist money that is invading our country, bringing up many things that are incompatible with our society. That's the first thing. I mean, calling for this killing and lynching, it has been since 2 years now in the mosques. 5 days, five days ago.
And there hasn't been enough reaction. Yes. We're pleased to be able to welcome at this point Member of Parliament for the ruling Enhada party, Amel AZZOUZ, who joins us from Tunis. Apologies for the technical issues that we had a little earlier. Amel, let me get your reaction. We've gotten word the Tunisian Prime Minister is going to dissolve the government and form a national unity cabinet. What kind of a cabinet do you think we'll see?
I'd like to start by presenting, first of all, my condolences to the family of Mr. Shukri Belid, to his wife and to his comrades and to his party and to all Tunisians, because I think what happened today does not only concern Shukri Belid and his family, but the whole of Tunisia. You've been asking me about the government, I think, what Mr. Hamadi Jebeli has announced just a few minutes ago or a few hours ago. This is what you've been asking me about?
Exactly. What kind of a cabinet do you think he'll form?
I think I've just heard before entering the studio that he is calling, or has opted for a cabinet of technocrats with ministers having no political belongings. I think it's a choice. It may be an option. It may be a way out from the crisis now. I do respect his choice here. Essentially, I hope that such a choice may succeed in getting the country out of this crisis.
We've seen this breakdown of law and order at times that we've been discussing. The most ominous example, of course, coming this morning with the gunning down of Belid. Do you feel sometimes overwhelmed by what's going on and outflanked by hardliners?
I'm so sorry. There's a bad quality of the voice. Could you please repeat your question, please?
Do you feel as though you're outflanked by hardliners at times?
Sorry?
Do you feel as though hardliners, people who prone violence, are getting the upper hand in Tunisia?
No, I hope not. And I don't think so also. I don't think so that these people are having the upper hand today. This is an incident. I know it is dangerous, and I know it's something that we have never had in Tunisia. All the Tunisians are shocked today, this morning, because it may pass, it may go unseen in other countries, in Libya maybe, or in Syria, or even in Egypt, or in Lebanon, but not in Tunisia. This is just a beginning. It is a beginning, but it is a very, very shocking sign, and it is a dangerous sign. And if we do not take the right measures and convenient measures to face and to confront, similar acts, we may have bad results, and the future is maybe very, very confusing. But I don't think that I cannot judge the situation just from this incident, saying that violence is everywhere in Tunisia. No, I do exaggerate, and I think it is exaggerations to say that. No, I don't think so.
And other opposition leaders have been threatened. Do you see, is their safety going to be increased? Are they safe right now?
I think everybody assumes his and her responsibility in this situation. Government opposition, all the parties, every single Tunisian citizen should assume his responsibility today, because if Shukri Belaid is the victim today, who knows tomorrow who will be the victim of this political violence. So I think it is, number one, it is first the responsibility of the government. Yes, I do, and now I am calling from my position as a deputy in the Constituent Assembly, I do call the minister, the Home Ministry here, to take measures and serious measures to confront what's happening and to face what's happening now. But I'm calling the political elite to assume their responsibilities and to be at the level, on the level of the situation, of this historical situation and moment in the history of Tunisia. Everybody now in Tunisia should assume responsibility. We should unite. I am sad, yes, because of what's happening, or what happened today, this morning. Everybody is sad, everybody is shocked, but we shouldn't stop there in being shocked and in being sad. We should go beyond our sadness and beyond our shock just to unite. If we do not take lessons from what happened today, we should never overcome what's happening in Tunisia. I think this is bad, yes, and this is shocking, yes, but it is good as far as we can, if you want, deduce lessons and take lessons from what happened to Shukri Belaid and today in Tunisia. And I'm sure this will add unity in this political elite and in people in general.
One final question. The leader of your party,
Yes.
HEDHLI-PEUGNET, blames counter-revolutionaries. Who does he mean exactly?
This question, let me be frank with you. I've been asked this question many times. No one in Tunisia now, whoever, whether from Enhada or from any other party or any other citizen in Tunisia, is able or can answer this question. What is sure and what is evident is who has murdered Shukri Belaid today is someone who is against revolution, who is not only against revolution or against Enhada, or
is it the Salafist?
Democracy and against this transitional process happening in Tunisia. Someone who has used all his tools, all their tools,
right.
And we've seen many tools again being used. And this is, I think, the
Amel,
last
AZZOUZ,
tool.
unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut you off
please.
because we're out of time, but I want to thank you very much. And again, apologies for our technical issues earlier. Thank you for joining us from Tunis. I want to thank as well for being with us Wafa JAOUA, also with us Jalila, HEDHLI-PEUGNET, and from Strasbourg at the European Parliament, Mariette SCHAAKE. Thank you for being with us here in the France 24 debate.